There were some big calls by referee Stuart Atwell in the Friday night football between Bournemouth and Manchester United. And they have got fans questioning the consistency of referees and VAR. Here's a reminder of the incidents.
Oh, that's a tug back on the shirt of Cunha. And it's going to be a penalty for Manchester United, a yellow card for Jimenez. Cunha got away from his man. Jimenez took the bait, made the mistake. Ahmad will get there ahead of True Fair. It's Ahmad. True Fair had hands on him. Stuart Atwell takes a good, long, lingering look at it and allows Bournemouth to play on.
It's not so much the hands, I don't think, it's his right boot, is it?
It will not be a penalty. They'll stay with the on-field decision there. Tavernier, Drew P, Evan Nielsen, Maguire had hands on there. And he's sent off. A red card for Harry Maguire.
He grasps hold of the forward. Not for too long. He's got to go. The red card's been shown.
Right, guys, let's get stuck in. Taking you back to Friday night. The big talking points, Atwell and VAR failing to award a penalty for Adrian Truffaut's challenge on Ahmad. Look, Man United, they're going to make an official complaint, a formal complaint, to head of referees Howard Webb. First of all, look, Dermot, what did you make of the decision?
I think they're both penalties. And I think the problem that happened is not giving that one. It must manifest itself later because the second one is also a goal-scoring opportunity. So their argument is it's a penalty. If you look at them, they're so similar. So I think, on balance, give both.
And look, because Christie goes up the other end and scores, does that get the officials out of making a big decision on the Ahmed penalty appeal?
It's just an unfortunate consequence, isn't it, Hayley, that, you look at that. The referee has got the most perfect position. If you look, it's not quite in this picture here, but he's looking straight at it. And in fairness, he waved it away straight away. Ball goes up the other end, it goes to the net. Ironically, the VAR is still checking the decision when the ball goes in the net. So
why wouldn't they have just told him that he's made a mistake?
Well, they can't tell him he's made a mistake. What they can say is it a clear and obvious error? And Stuart's obviously fed back to them. I don't think it's enough of a shove. I don't think there's enough in it. They look at it and they back the referee.
But like you said there, Derms, the referee is in a great position to see everything. And, when you look at it, I had some friends saying, it's soft, he's gone down too easy. Amad Diallo must be about, 5'6", right? And the defender's obviously in the wrong position and he's shoved him. And then the way he's fallen, it doesn't look like, he's not exaggerated that at all. He's just off balance. So I can't understand why the referee hasn't seen that and he's made the decision against that. And I think that is the reason why this whole commotion has started now, because I think if the Maguire ones happens first, this one is then a penalty, I think. But it's obviously happened the other way around, and I know it's hindsight. But it's definitely a penalty for me.
Yeah, look, on that, fans are comparing that challenge to Harry Maguire's on Evan Nielsen, which saw a red card. Here we are, passage of play. Why are they different, Dermot?
Well, that's what I said, Hayley. If you look at it, this one is slightly different. It's a goal-scoring opportunity, but you look at the way he does it. It's almost when you see them together, you say, well, either they're both penalties or neither of them are penalties, because whichever way the referee jumps, people would expect him to jump the same way twice. In fairness, he may well think later, well, I've learnt from the first one. Looks back and says, well, this one is, I can't repeat the mistake.
Again, I would like to hear the referee come out and say something based upon that.
Yeah.
Like the referee in Germany did last week. He said he made a mistake. I think, no one likes to see mistakes, but it will make things better if the referee came out and said that. But I think this one here was Evan Nielsen's brilliance, by the way. It was a great first touch, and he's touched it back where Maguire doesn't want to go. I think there's less contact with that one than the Diallo one, but I think Evan Nielsen's first touch has made him get in that position. So it was great play from him, but I think both of them are penalties.
And what we call for every week is consistency. Is this issue about referee consistency? Or is it VAR just meant to spot clear and obvious errors?
Well, consistency is great as long as you get it right every time, isn't it? But
Yeah.
if we agree the first one's a penalty,
Yeah.
so we agree that's wrong, do you want him to get the second one wrong just to be consistent, or do you want him to go,
Good
well, I'm going to
point.
get that one right? So that's the problem with consistency. It's brilliant if it does what you want, but it's like VAR. VAR is great if it gives the decision you want.
Yeah, an issue with how VAR is applied because you just want that right decision, don't you?
And that's why it's there, isn't it? So you can get that right decision. You know, especially how long these people take at VAR. Like if you're rewinding it and seeing it and checking it, speaking to your colleagues, I don't understand why there's a lot of wrong decisions. And again, a lot of these decisions for me that they do get wrong are common sense. And, you know, it's not me being disrespectful to the referees, but I think that when you've played the game, I think the better referees, in my opinion, are the ones that actually have an understanding of the game because they've played it. And it's not to say you're playing at the highest level, any level, but I think it's the ones that haven't played the game are the ones that have a different interpretation of what is a foul and what isn't. And I think that's where the game comes into the inconsistent things we don't want to see.
I think, though, you've got to be careful that VAR isn't a panacea. It's not there to get everything right, and it never will. A VAR is there to correct the Thierry handball, if you like, in the World Cup. It's things like clear and obvious errors. It's not there to re-referee. It's not there to go, Jay, you've got this wrong, so you've got to do this. You know, you've got to be mindful that there's always going to be a subjective element.
And that's where I think that the debate comes into play, because yes, it is subjective, but I feel like the referees, the officials that get more decisions right are the ones that have actually played the game rather than the ones that have just looked at the rules from a textbook.
OK, look, Michael Carrick compared the Ahmad incident to this penalty given for a foul on Matheus Cunha. So comparing it to that, is that a fairer comparison?
There's no question, this one. I mean, it's great play from Cunha, and you can see him. He's actually grabbed his shirt. Yes, Cunha's gone down. People might say he's made the most of it, but he's got this view's the best view. Like he's grabbing him, he feels it, he's gone down. But it's good play from the forward. But that one's obvious, I think.
Yeah.
And look, another one to bring you here as well. We've got Bournemouth fans. I mean, they're asking why Evan Nilsson wasn't awarded a penalty in the first half. This you can see here. Maguire pushing him. What do you think to this one then?
I didn't think this was a penalty, actually. I think both players are tangled, but Evan Nilsson's overrun the ball anyhow. I think there's minimal contact, but for me, I wouldn't give that if I was a referee.
And I don't know, I think if that was me, I'd be asking for it.
Well, I was a forward.
If that was me, I'd be asking for that. But I kind of understand why it hasn't been given, and I think it's what you said. The ball is going behind him. And then the fact that Evan Nilsson didn't really appeal for it. He didn't throw his hands up and stand up and start running towards the referee. He just kind of let it go.
Now, Manchester United stuttered ever so slightly in their quest for Champions League football, drawing 2-2 against Bournemouth on the Friday night football. However, they remain in third place in the Premier League and well on course to make Europe's premium competition. I mean, 7 games left. What form they've been in, they will qualify for Champions League now.
I don't worry about Man United qualifying. 100% Man United will qualify. I thought against Bournemouth they were good. It was only Harry Maguire getting sent off which changed the game, to be fair. Other than that, Bournemouth were good though. Bournemouth
arguably they could have had 2 penalties.
Yeah. And I think if you give the Evan Nilsson one, you have to give the Amad Diallo one. So yeah, I agree with you. But Bournemouth were good on the night for sure. But Man United have that X factor where Cunha gets the penalty, Bruno, and then Christie gets, and then there's an own goal here. He's unfortunate. Hill, it just hits him. And it goes into the net.
This was Harry Maguire's.
I did, the way he celebrated. And then you see the replay, it's obviously Hill. And then obviously we've not seen the incident, but Krupi puts the penalty away. And I think if that's a penalty, then the one against Amad Diallo from True Fair is a penalty as well. So that's the inconsistency from VAR and the referees. But yeah, I'm not going to highlight it, but I just have. But let me tell you, it's a big result.
I think it's a tough place to go.
Of course it is.
They are the draw specialist, it seems.
And they've got good players and a top manager as well.
Maybe on reflection, United can look at it and say,
going down to 10 men?
We've got a point from it. At least we didn't concede a late Bournemouth winner.
Yeah, going down to 10 players, it's a good result, to be fair. And that's Opta. And you know what I'm like with Opta, because Opta can get it wrong sometimes. But, I think Opta, that could be right then with Opta.
You're in agreement, are you?
Yeah, it could be right. Yeah, because Villa have got some good games coming up at the moment. And this goes to say Chelsea are going to miss out then.
So if you think that's right, There are
Chelsea are
10
missing
points behind Arsenal and City, by the way, in that Opta predictor.
No.
No, you don't agree with
No,
that?
Opta's wrong. It's only going to be 3 points come the end of the season, not 10. Yeah, so Opta's wrong. Sorry, Opta.
Yeah,
you get it right
buckle up,
sometimes.
guys. 3 points in it then.
Yeah.
Right, just lastly then on Manchester United, look, if they do qualify for Champions League football, does Carrick get the job? Where do you stand on this at the moment?
I would give him the job, definitely, if they get Champions League football, because the job Michael Carrick's been fantastic. But do I think the hierarchy will give him? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I still think
why
it's
not?
50-50. I don't know. 'Cause I think when he went in there, they would have said to him how it's going to plan out. And they probably didn't know, but they were saying it's only interim from now to the end of the season, regardless of how well you do. I think those conversations, and maybe they've already got a manager in mind that they want for the summer. But at the moment, all Michael Carrick can do is keep doing well what he's doing. His stock's high. Whatever happens, Michael Carrick will be managing a Premier League club next season. Hopefully it is...
Next season?
Yeah, because
He's not at United?
Maybe if he's not at United, well, you never know. We were talking earlier, the Tottenham job could become available if they don't get their number one target. You just don't know at the moment. But I think the job Carrick's done has been outstanding. He's not really changed a lot, but Ruben Amorim had the players, but what he did is put good players in like Kobbie Mainoo, who was sitting on the bench. How silly does Ruben Amorim look now at home? He must be basically kicking the TV all the time. But I hope Carrick gets the job.
OK, sorry, Jay, but we've got to get to the League Cup final between Arsenal and Man City. Look, Peter Banks was the referee at Wembley. It was his first major final. How would you assess his performance then, Dermot?
I think he did really, really well. I think where he did well, I mean, the first half wasn't the best game to watch. And it was so easy for him to get involved in things he didn't need to and draw attention to himself. I think that's where he was really clever.
I mean, one thing I think was a poor decision was the yellow card on Nketiah. That's never been a yellow card. He hasn't touched him. He's given me a yellow card early doors. Now he can't make a challenge. And, OK, people might say, oh, well, Arteta could have made a substitution and brought on Calafiori. But I think that was a big yellow card in terms of now he can't tackle, he can't, he can't mistime anything. That to me is not a yellow card at all.
It's not when you see that. In fairness to Peter Banks, if you go to the first angle, his angle, it looks as though he jumps in. Players don't do any favours. If it wasn't a foul, why did the City player have to go to ground? So players don't do referees any favours.
I think, to be honest, I think the City player slipped. He's put his foot down and he's slipped. But I think as it's happened, it looks like a collision where you think maybe it is. But we're privy to see these kind of replays in slow motion.
Absolutely.
And when you see it, you can see he's clearly not, had any contact with him. And I think that's the only one where I would say it was a poor decision, and I think it affected his game.
Yeah, because it was so early as well.
I think that you've got to be fair to Peter, and I think how he saw it, Nketiah does jump in. He does jump in. He doesn't get him. I get that. It's not a foul. It's not a yellow card. I get that. But I can understand on what he saw with one view, I can understand why he's yellow carded. What you've said is absolutely spot on. We've got the privilege to look at that and we see the second angle.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. He doesn't catch him. It's not a yellow card, but these things happen in football matches. It's just unfortunate.
Do you think they should be checking these kind of yellow cards as well?
I don't, because I'm a great one. I already think the game's a beautiful game. I'm addicted to football because it's a beautiful game. I don't want it being like a computer game.
Yeah, another incident he had to deal with is Pep Guardiola, furious after Kepa Arrizabalaga avoided a red card, bringing down Jeremy Doku when he was through on goal. But Peter Banks decided it was yellow. What do you think it should have been, guys?
I think that's the right decision, to be honest. The only thing I would say on this one, he should have let it play out more.
Yes.
Dermot always says, take a breath, see where this goes, and then make a decision. I think the fact that he's made the decision so soon is what I would be upset with, because when Doku gets the ball here, when he turns back, Haaland's arriving, and Haaland might be able to have a shot there, because the defender's there in goal, but if you have a decent enough shot and loop it, that's an opportunity. So I think he should have seen that one play out, but it's definitely not a red card for me.
I don't think it's a red card either. I think there's so much to do. And in fairness to the referee, once he's gone too wide, I get it, he can knock it back to hard. Once he's gone too wide, he's lost his opportunities. That's the thing. He's not. Doku's not going to score from where he is. No. So I think that's when Peter says, I'm going to bring it back.
OK, right. Right, welcome back. Let's get to the Tyne-Wear derby where referee Anthony Taylor paused the game 5 minutes into the second half because there was a report of racist abuse from the crowd. Now, this was directed at Sunderland's Lucharel Gertruda. It was in line, of course, with the Premier League's on-field anti-discrimination protocols. We hate to see it, but look, Dermot, how did he handle it?
Just like the game, Hayley, absolutely perfect. If you ever want to see how to referee a football match, this was it. But he has all kind of challenges. This is one we never want to see, but he was just so calm. He did everything correctly. And the great thing about it was he let everybody know seamlessly. I just think it was done perfectly.
Yeah, and it will be investigated as well, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Gertruda as well, speaking to the referee, letting the officials know, and the way Anthony Taylor handled it, I think was perfect. And that's the only way we're going to get this racism out of our beautiful game.
Let's talk decisions. VAR check for possible penalty. He called no penalty, so right decision, Dermot?
I think so. I don't think Hume does anything wrong. He's always got his foot planted. He doesn't make a challenge, and I think Anthony Gordon actually invades his space. Just think it's unfortunate. It's almost like Gordon catches Hume rather than the other way round.
I think what Gordon's done there, he's just tried to get his body in. I don't think he's trying to dive. I think he's just trying to get his body in across the ball. But I don't think it is a penalty. I think if you give penalties for that, that's really soft. If the defender was to try and kick it or clear the ball or pass it and it catches him, then it's a different conversation. But I think that was the right decision that was given.
Like Newcastle defender Malik Thiaw had a goal disallowed after VAR deemed Jacob Murphy was interfering with Sunderland keeper Melke Elborg whilst in an offside position. Thoughts on this intervention?
It's a great spot because he's definitely interfering with the keeper. He's actually in physical contact with him, so he impacts his ability to save the ball. He's also in his line of vision, but not a goal.
Yeah, I think that's the easy one, to be honest. I mean, if we ever talk about interfering with play, that's the most obvious one because he's actually having contact with the keeper, like you said there, Derms.
We're going to head to Aston Villa now, to Villa Park. Villa had a penalty overturned by referee Paul Tierney after VAR sent him to the monitor to show West Ham defender Konstantinos Mavropanos getting the ball. This is when tackling Ollie Watkins. The players, they look very confused about this initial decision. Are you surprised he gave this actually in the first place, Dermot?
I was actually, Hayley, because I always say look for the clues, and the clue for me is the ball. That if you look where the ball goes, and it goes a long, long way, I would suggest that Watkins couldn't possibly play that ball that way and wouldn't want to play that ball that way there. But what I would say, the VAR was very, very quick to intervene. It was done very quickly and not a penalty.
Again, I don't understand how the referee hasn't seen that. He was in a good position. But if we can see that again, I think the only thing that he can give a foul for was when the ball was initially played. Now, if he gives a foul for that, if Watkins stops, he'll get a foul for that. But as soon as he goes into the box, Mavropanos has made an unbelievable challenge. And I don't understand why he's close to that as well. I don't understand how he gets that wrong. VAR shouldn't even need to get involved there. He should be doing his job better.
Scott Parker, he couldn't fathom why his side weren't awarded a penalty. The ball struck Calvin Bassey's arm because the ball was going in the goal. Why wasn't his given? Actually, does he make a good point here then, Parker, Dermot?
This, to me, is the vagary of handball, isn't it? Bassey's falling, there's no doubt about that. His arm's supporting his body. We all know that if your arm's supporting your body and it strikes your arm, it's not going to be given. The converse argument is it's going in the goal, so should it be a penalty? It has to be given, you say, but one counterbalances the other, doesn't it? So I think it's a massive dilemma for the referee. He says no because his arm's on the floor.
But they could be making their job a lot easier, where just say whether you're trying to put your arm down to balance yourself or land or break your fall or whatever, if the ball hits your arm and it's going in the goal, it's a penalty. I think Scott Parker's absolutely right. That should be a penalty all day long because the ball is going in the goal.
But be fair to the referee.
Yeah.
He's instructed because don't forget, before they changed the law, before they changed the rule, that was always going to be handball.
Yeah.
And then it was decided if your arm's supporting you, it can't be handball. So I get it, but it's a big dilemma for the referee. So you can't blame the referee. It's the tools he's got.
Right. Was there any doubt about the Fulham penalty then and the red card shown to Burnley's Josh Laurent?
always going to be a penalty, Haley, always going to be a red card because Jimenez is through. You know, he's pushed over, it's caused him to lose his balance, doesn't get his shot on target. He doesn't go for the ball. You know, upper body movement, very hard to say you've ever made a genuine attempt for the ball.
He's trying to put him off, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do. And, you know, in fairness, he probably has put him off because he probably would have slotted that in the goal. But, I mean, it's definitely the right decision.
Yeah.
Penalty it is.
Burnley players, they weren't happy with Jimenez's run-up for the penalty. Do they have a case?
This is interesting.
Because he's
This
broken
is
any
interesting
rules?
because, I mean, you can't stop, right? That's the rule when you run up to a penalty. Is that correct?
No.
You can stop.
Yes.
You can completely stop.
You can't stop when you address the ball. You can check your run up, but once you address the ball, you can't. I couldn't run up and the goalkeeper moves and then roll it in the other corner.
So, but you can kind of run up and then kind of stop like that and then run forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, if that's the rules, then that's the rule. To be honest, I didn't know that rule either. I thought you just couldn't stop on your way up to the ball.
Once you address the ball, you've got to kick it.
Okay, that's interesting.
You learn something new
every day. Yeah.
There you go. Done. OK. Let's take you to Brighton-Liverpool. We have Arne Slot feeling that Brighton winger Yankuba Minte should have been shown second yellow card and sent off for diving. This is refereed by Darren England. It came after going down in the box. This was a challenge from Jeremy Frimpong. What did you think, Dermot?
I think if he'd got a second yellow card, he couldn't have argued. Maybe because he's got straight up, the referee thinks, well, he's slipped or he's felt something, but he's not been fouled, quite clear. It's not a penalty. But does he have to go down like that? I think not.
Do you know what saves him here? What saves him here? That's it. He didn't appeal for it. If he put his arms up or kind of made any gesture to the referee, I think the referee would give him the
100%.
second yellow. The fact that he's just got up and jogged back made the referee think, oh, maybe he has just gone down or slipped or whatever it may be. That's what saved him.
What a game it was for Danny Welbeck, hey. But there was a VAR check on his second goal for offside. It looked so tight here. Oh, how much credit should the assistant get, actually, Dermot?
Fantastic. Jay's going to say he's guessed.
Of course he has. Of course he has. It's like an inch.
What I would say, it's tough enough to defend a referee when he's got something wrong. It's impossible to stand there and say something about a referee when he's got it right. So credit to the assistant.
Do you know what it's credit to VAR. I'm going to give the credit to VAR. They've made the right decision in the end.
VAR only confirmed the decision. It didn't make the decision.